Thank you for joining us on Newswatch tonight. Glad you could make time for this newscast. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign languages, Boniface Muredi. Newswatch begins now. Education Principal Secretary Dr. Belio Kipsang has today accompanied members of the Parliamentary Committee on Education to visit the warehouse of the National Examination Council. This comes following complaints from parents and teachers about the controversial 2023 KCPE exam results. The PS, however, said there were no errors in marking the recently announced KCPE results. Our reporter Dolly Mwirigi begins our bulletin tonight.
2023. Following the complaints about the errors in the result of the 2023 KCPE results, Basic Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang has embarked on a visit to the examination warehouse, accompanied by members of the Parliamentary Committee. Teachers and parents have expressed their concerns over the error seen in the result, prompting the PS to investigate the matter. However, Kipsang says that there were no errors in the marking of the 2023 KCPE.
The results that we give on the day that we are releasing are provisional results. Until those results are confirmed and become results, at that point we still have those 30 days within which to correct any errors that might be the caps that we are saying, because we cannot fail to activate the cap that is there when we have been able to identify what the cause of that cap is.
The Kenyan Parliament's Education Committee has initiated an investigation into these complaints, with the move demonstrating the commitment of the Ministry of Education to ensure that the procedure of result issuance is carried out correctly and fairly for all the examinees.
Since we want to have a point of reference, when either our certificates are being equated in those countries or we are equating the certificates of those countries, when they are going through their processes, they invite us, we participate in them, and I am sure you have seen in the media forums where we usually invite them and we say, come and be part of our processes so that you can be sure we are not, it's just like during elections when we invite election observers to come and make sure that whatever we are doing is up to the global standards.
When they say they are best students, that is their best in accordance with the tests that they run and all. But on the actual day that the student is assessed, you don't know the circumstances that that student may have been, the status of that student at the day that they were doing the examinations, that may disrupt the performance of the student.
The ongoing investigation aims to rectify any errors and ensure all examinees are treated justly. This situation serves as a reminder of the importance of the meticulousness in the education sector and the potential impact of any discrepancies on the future of the student involved.
I would want to make it clear that schools do registration. And therefore, we give the system to the school so that they register their candidates. And because it is at the school level, and we have, this year we have 28,533 centers, it is our responsibility to make sure that any candidate who is supposed to be registered is registered at the end of the process. But sometimes you may not be able to know that there is a center which has not registered. That is why this year, because this was the last exam, we gave an opportunity to every child, whether they were registered or not registered, to do the examination.
Dolly Mwirigi for Hope TV, Nairobi.
Now, the opposition leader Raila Odinga has questioned the integrity of the 2023 Kenya Certificate of Primary Education KCPE exam results. At a press conference, Raila claimed that the exams were compromised the moment President William Ruto's government cancelled the contract awarded to a United Kingdom-based firm that was initially supposed to print exam papers and awarded the tender to a company based on Mombasa Road, which has no capacity to deliver on the task. Our reporter Nicholas Kivite has more on that story.
We have established that early this year, the Kenya Kwanza administration suddenly and abruptly stopped this contract just because the UK company refused to give kickbacks. Without following any legal procurement processes, due diligence procedures, and attention to examination timelines, the Kenya Kwanza administration awarded the KCP and KSE exam printing contract to a politically correct local company based on Mombasa Road in Nairobi. This led to the mess where the results received expensively using the short code was different from the one on the Kenya National Examination Council portal and sent to schools. It led to what NEC has called misalignment of marks and grades. Grades in science and social studies, as well as religious studies, were truncated. The rot saw the KCP candidates get graded for subjects they never set for. It saw an entire class score same grades in science in one school. The system deployed could not produce the plus and minus signs. What a shame. The buck stops with His Excellency, Mr. William Ruto. It is our firm belief that mega corruption in billions cannot happen without the complicity of the top. Whether it is 17 billion shilling in oils or billions involved in the poisonous cooking oil, we know the dynamics of how government operates. The CS, the PS are small fries. The buck stops with Mr. Ruto. The circumstances under which the printing of the exams was transferred from the UK to Mombasa Road must be investigated. 2, Kenyans must be told how the integrity of the exams was secured during the transfer from the UK to Mombasa Road and later to another printer in Asia. 3, it is the right of Kenyans to know the cause of termination of the contract with the UK firm. 4, Kenyans must be informed of how the Mombasa Road firm was identified and awarded the tender and if procurement laws were followed.
Our Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has defended the coffee reforms instituted by the government and dismissed as misleading the narrative by critics that the reforms are punitive. Speaking when he hosted the new United Kingdom High Commissioner to Kenya, Neil Wigan, at his official residence in Karen, Gachagua extended an invitation to coffee business companies in the United Kingdom for open discussions on the reforms in the subsector to enable them understand what the changes are all about. Britain is one of the main importers of Kenyan tea and coffee. This as Kenya is currently implementing reforms in the coffee subsector to position the crop as one of the highest foreign exchange earners. Alice Diana brings us that story.
In fact, the reforms are not prohibitive.
While defending the coffee reforms, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said they were not prohibitive or punitive, as has been portrayed by those against the changes.
All we are saying is that in the 70s and the...
Speaking when he met the new British High Commissioner to Kenya, Neil Wigan, who replaces John Marriott, who completed her 4-year term, DP Gachagua said the interventions in the subsector were meant to rescue it from collapsing following sustained low production over the years.
People against the reforms have created a narrative that the reforms can stall trade and business. Far from it. All we are saying is that in the 70s and the 80s, coffee, we were doing 241,000 metric tons of coffee. Since we liberalized and we brought in private players, we have gone down to 51,000 metric tons. And if we don't make some interventions, the whole subsector will shut down. So what we have done is reforms so that we don't have people monopolizing the industry, so that everybody can play one role.
With trade between the countries still in favor of the UK, the Deputy President urged more markets for Kenyan products, including tea and coffee. He assured the envoy of President William Ruto administration's readiness to deal with hurdles frustrating British investors in a bid to boost foreign investment in the country.
My office is in charge of coordination of development partnerships.
Yes.
And if there is anything that you feel needs some intervention from the presidency, And we have set up a unit in our office to unlock things and get things moving. And your predecessor, Jane Marriott, called on me 2, 3, 4 times for certain things that were stuck, and we were able to unlock them.
Gachagua also said the government is keen to ensure the success of the Kenya-United Kingdom 2020 to 2025 partnership, which is crucial in deepening the relations between the two nations. The partnership focuses on key pillars on mutual prosperity, security and stability, sustainable development, climate change, as well as people-to-people interaction.
Sister Jane Marriott.
On his part, Ambassador Wigan committed to ensure the two countries maintain the rapport they have enjoyed over the years and build on it.
On trade relationship, yes, we would like a balanced trade relationship. I think at the moment, as you said, it's slightly in our favour, but it's actually quite close, and I think that's what we want to keep. We want to trade relationship which clearly benefits both sides, and we also want to see more British investments coming into Kenya. So Menengai, Nairobi Railway City, the whole package that the President and my Prime Minister agreed at COP27, we want to keep all of that really moving forward. So we may come to you for help.
Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
And a day after the Controller of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, was arrested and charged with 4 counts of defrauding a woman of 29 million shillings in an offence committed in 2016, Minority Leader in the National Assembly, Opiyo Wandayi, has urged the Speaker, Moses Wetangula, to issue a communication on the matter in a bid to allay concerns over the fate of the constitutional office holder. However, Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah accused the opposition of politicizing the matter, with Speaker Wetangula urging the House to desist from further discussion on the issue, which is before the courts. Nyakango had pleaded not guilty to the charges she faced alongside 10 other people and is out on a 2 million shilling bond.
The Controller of Budget is exercising her mandate pursuant to the function of this House of appropriating funds to various agencies and organs of government and authority. Honorable Junet is reminding me. Mr. Speaker, there is a notion which has been created out there since the arraignment of the Controller of Budget yesterday, that perhaps the office of the Controller of Budget is now vacant, or somehow the Controller of Budget is now impeded from performing her function. Let me go further, Mr. Speaker, to draw attention to the provisions of Article 251 of the Constitution. And therefore, any insinuation that the office holder is either incapacitated or barred from performing her functions can create unnecessary anxiety and distress in the economy generally. But more importantly, her functions are intertwined with the functions of this House. And therefore, it is the duty of this House to set the record straight if there is such kind of misconception.
To speak against graft and impunity in this country, Honorable Speaker. It is not lost on me, Honorable Speaker, that the same people today who purport to be defending Margaret Nyakango are the same people who yesterday were vilifying the same Margaret when she spoke about state capture, when she spoke about how she was forced in the wee hours of the last regime to withdraw 15 billion shillings from the exchequer. Thank God, Honorable Speaker, that today we are not speaking about Margaret Nyakango being forced by anybody in government to make withdrawals from the exchequer or to approve payments that she thinks should not be approved. We are talking about impropriety on the person of Margaret Nyakango before she came into office as the Controller of Budget. Nothing to touch on her conduct in office.
Margaret has been taken to court, and from what I also saw, is not related to her performance as a Controller of Budget. That is in public domain. So let's leave the matter there so that we don't prejudice her case. We are making it difficult for her lawyers and other lawyers who may turn up in court with Hansard from this House and complicate her defense and push her in the deeper end of the waters, and that is not good.
And a Kenyan man has been arrested in Connecticut, United States of America, for allegedly trying to hire a hitman to kill a female relative who was set to testify against him in court. 52-year-old Leonard Thuo Mwithiga, a manager at a top Kenyan bank, is said to have continuously requested for help from another person from the 9th of September to the 1st of December this year to connect him to a hitman. And Mwithiga, who was staying at a hotel in Putman, was arrested on Monday after meeting with an undercover police officer who had posed as a hitman. Judge Kevin Shea charged him with criminal attempt at intimidation of a witness, conspiracy to commit murder, and criminal attempt at murder with special circumstances. He has been released on a $5 million, about 762 million shillings, with the prosecution saying he was a flight risk since he frequently travels back and forth from Kenya. Mwithiga was also ordered to surrender all firearms and keep his distance from any victims and/or witnesses. The case will be heard on the 26th of January 2024. We take our first short break here on Newswatch. We shall return with more news items shortly.
It's finally here. The breakfast show that will kickstart your morning with a message of hope, coupled up with wholesome music, and of course, captivating conversations that matter to you.
We shall touch on topics on law, relationships, the Christian walk, and in addition, we will also be keeping you up to date with news and all the trending topics.
Join me, Beatrice Watare,
and me, George Gishuru, every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Hope at Dawn.
Only on Hope TV, where you look
and live.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has assured teachers, especially those working in the northern parts of Kenya, that the government will prioritize matters pertaining to their security. Speaking as he graced the 63rd NAT Annual Delegates Conference at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, the Deputy President said that the Kenya Kwanza government has the interests of teachers at heart, enumerating steps taken by the Ruto administration to stabilize security in the northern Kenya, including running a disarmament exercise, as well as lowering the cost of education to enable empowerment of the people from the region with the hope of making them abandon banditry and other harmful ventures. Meanwhile, DP Gachagua has underscored that the government in this financial year has increased allocation to the education sector, which evidences its commitment to ensure the sector succeeds.
I want to assure the teachers in those difficult areas of northern Kenya, in the North Rift, Professor Kindiki, the National Police Service, and all our security agencies are doing whatever needs to be done so that our teachers and the rest of Kenyans are secure. And I did tell the Teacher Service Commission when there was a problem with some teachers in northern Kenya, and some people are pushing that they should be dismissed from the service for not being able to go there. I told them not to try to sack them because you cannot. You cannot punish people who are running away to save their lives. But what we have done, we have taken enough measures to ensure that we secure them so that they are given enough security, and a lot of work is going on in those regions to make sure that teachers, pupils, and everybody is secure.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged engineers to take center stage and steer the ship of Africa's Agenda 2063. In a speech delivered on his behalf by President William Ruto's advisor on women's rights, Harriet Chigai, Mudavadi said Africa's Agenda 2063 master plan identifies strategic incentives key to accelerating Africa's economic growth and development, as well as reclaiming and promoting common identity by celebrating its history and vibrant cultures. Mudavadi's remarks were presented during the 5th International Conference on Pan-African Society of Agricultural Engineers, PASAE, in collaboration with Kenyan Society of Environmental, Biological and Agricultural Engineers at the University of Nairobi. On her part, Chigai urged the upcoming engineers to take advantage of the growing technologies globally and be more innovative and proactive in helping find solutions to the current challenges facing the world in different spheres.
As a university, we will continue to support the journal in whichever way we can. I urge the faculty to prioritize support to such noble initiatives, not only by encouraging faculty to publish in it, but also leading technical and financial support, whichever they can, to help grow this local initiative.
So our commitment to the Engineering Agenda 2063 resonates not only with the advancement of infrastructure, but also on the positive impact that engineering endeavors can have on the lives of every African citizen.
I'm proud of you having taken a step away from being bystanders and have to instead chosen to only lead the process of developing strategies, innovations of technologies that are made in and for Africa, but also helping in the adaptation of soft skills in the productive sectors of agriculture and manufacturing.
Because engineers are uniquely qualified to lead the national planning processes because their education and training enables them to visualize complex systems, break down the same into components, and integrate the same in a judicious world. Kenya has a national government of 47 counties. All the 48 governments have a planning role.
And the spouse of Deputy President Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has reiterated that Africa as a continent is not ready to legalize LGBTQ. Speaking during the launch of Jesus Africa book by Pastor Patience Museveni, the daughter of President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, Pastor Dorcas said Africa would rather miss trade with the nations advocating for LGBTQ than legalize the vice. She spoke after Oduor Ragubao, the husband to Pastor Patience, revealed that he was flying from Nairobi to the U.S. to defend the stand by the Ugandan government on LGBTQ. Now, Oduor said the U.S. had threatened to remove Uganda from the Africa Growth Opportunity AGOA trade deal after the East African nation passed a law criminalizing the LGBTQ. The bill was signed by President Museveni earlier this year. Pastor Patience, in her book, talks about how she received a vision from God in 2005 with Uganda. Patience, in her book, talks about how she received the vision with Uganda considered the heart of Africa, which will bring change to the entire continent. Among those who have praised the book was Ambassador Kiema Kilonzo, who said the book has awakened Africa to rise again.
In Uganda, that you find a president who will stand against the world and say no to LGBTQ and go to defend what must be defended. We must defend our culture, we must defend what we believe in, and we must defend our morality. We are here also in Kenya, representation of government and the church meeting together. And what we are saying is the same that Uganda is saying. LGBTQ does not have a place in Africa. And we continue saying that. I myself say that one, I am not there. And it should not happen. And it must never happen. And it is better not to have trade, but to have our integrity and morality.
Yesu ndiye njia.
Mtoto gani katika hii ulimwengu ameitwa Mungu mkuu?
Nasema akasema udhu billahi.
Hata leo usisema udhu billahi, tafadhali usikize.
Yesu ndiye njia. Uchambuzi wa masuala tata katika Biblia na vitabu vingine vya kidini.
No, we don't believe that Christ was crucified. Christ was taken right to heaven by 4 angels, 4 archangels.
Kama Muhammad ndiye alikuwa wa kwanza kuleta dini ya Kiislamu na alikuja after Jesus, sasa inawezekanaje Ibrahimu awe Muislamu, Musa awe Muislamu?
Yesu ndiye njia. Jadala wa moja kwa moja kati ya walimu wa Kikristu na dini zingine.
Wanasema Mwenyezi Mungu ana mtoto. Jambo hilo wanasema mmeleta jambo ambalo linachukiza.
Siri ya Mungu ambaye Mungu amejidhihirisha katika mili. Hii yote ni ukafiri.
Mmefanya makosa makubwa sana kusema kwamba Isa ibn Maryam ni Mungu wa pili na Allah ambaye ameumba mbingu na ardhi mkasema ni Mungu wa tatu.
Yesu ndiye njia. Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1:30 jioni kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Hope TV.
A look at business now. The Port of Mombasa has continued to receive new entrant vehicles and liners from global shipping lines, making their debut calls at the port, with the latest being Jolly Oro, a full container vessel operated by the Messina Line. Speaking to journalists at the Kenya Ports Authority Kipevu headquarters, KPA Managing Director Captain William Ruto said that the port has begun to attract new key players in the maritime and shipping lines space who previously did not conduct business at the port. He attributed this shift and appeal to the efficiency of the Mombasa port in exhibiting in comparison to other ports in the region, adding that a number of maiden voyages have already arrived and more are expected this December. Ignacio Messina Line Ports, Terminals and Logistics Worldwide Manager Massimiliano Riccardi lauded the swift operations the Messina Line has experienced over the time they have used the port.
The ship is carrying more than 2,000 containers. And out of those containers, they will be doing 541 containers, which is about 1,000 TEUs for the port of Dar es Salaam. The reason why they are doing that is because of the emerging congestion that is in the port of Dar es Salaam. And out of our efficiency, and I think I've been able to demonstrate to you very well that within our region, we are now facing serious congestion because of the Christmas season. We are receiving several imports, and even from what I've shared with you, within the next 12 days we are expecting 25 vessels carrying containers. As Port of Mombasa, we've prepared ourselves, and our workers are well prepared. And I think what has also assisted the Port of Mombasa is the expansion that we did. You are seeing the berth number 22, the new container terminal, currently is able to receive, the berth occupancy has increased to more than 82%. Another line that I've also introduced new service is Costco, MSC, CMA CGM, and also Mask. So out of all these new services that everybody is introducing, is trying to address the challenges that they are facing within the ports within our region.
We are accounting a lot on this terminal and this port because it's reducing the port stay and is improving the productivity. So in comparison with other ports, we feel more at home and we feel more comfortable here in Mombasa. Unfortunately, we are not enjoying some performances in other ports, and this is a problem for all the East Africa service, because at the end, on several ports in one schedule, even if only one port is destroying the performances and the schedule, at the end is affecting the full schedule.
NCBA and CFAO Motors Kenya have entered a strategic partnership to allow customers to access up to 100% financing to purchase a wide range of new and pre-owned vehicles at very affordable rates. In the partnership, CFAO Motors will be extending the offer to consumers across all segments, from personal vehicles to commercial trucks and buses. Speaking during the unveiling of the partnership, NCBA Group Director, Assets, Finance and Business Solutions, Lennox Mugambi, stated that the partnership is designed to offer the best value for the customer and allow them to effectively take up the wide range of vehicles from CFAO Motors Kenya.
This partnership signifies the coming together of two industry leaders, with NCBA controlling around 34% of the market share in the motor vehicle financing, while CFAO Motors is currently leading in the new luxury vehicle financing with a 55% market share. As part of this partnership, we'll be introducing a range of financing solutions that are designed to make vehicle ownerships more affordable and convenient. We'll provide competitive terms, flexible repayment tenor, swift approval process. I think the MC here mentioned that we have one of the fastest approval tenor. Whether you're a small business owner looking to expand your fleet or an individual seeking a personal vehicle, we have a financing solution tailored to your unique circumstances.
We were able to bring together ourselves, together with the NCBA Bank, to sign a memorandum of agreement that allows our customers and our partners better finance terms as we go forward.
We are going through some difficult times economically, with now interest rates being increased as well. But I'm sure we will manage because we are there to give better and better products. We're trying to see what kind of kaizens we can come up with, what kind of vehicles we can bring into the market.
The construction industry witnessed a dynamic interplay of forces in 2023 marked by notable achievements and persistent challenges. According to the AAK Built Environment Report 2023, the industry experienced an influx of projects, with the National Construction Authority NCA receiving a total of 4,770 applications from January to October this year. 70.3% of them were successfully registered. According to the report, residential development constituted the majority, representing 54% of the total applications, reflecting a sustained demand for development. Florence Nyole, the AAK president, however, says the sector faced formidable challenges, notably the escalating cost of construction, largely a result of the increased import costs influenced by the devalued currency.
In 2023, the industry witnessed both commendable success, but also persistent challenges, and substantial influx of projects registered and approved by NCA and county governments respectively underscored the vibrancy of the sector. The high number of residential projects developments reflects the sustained demand for housing and the need for the government to create a more conducive environment for the sector to contribute to the production of affordable housing. However, escalating construction costs, challenges in development control regulations and permitting, and equity and inclusion concerns continue to form formidable obstacles to the industry.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
Get ready for the most electrifying gospel event of the year, Praise Atmosphere 2023, on the 9th of December at Sitam Karen, Nairobi, from 2 p.m. onward, featuring Evelyn Wanjiru, Prosper Ochimana from Nigeria, Rehema Simfukwe from Tanzania, Edith Wairimo, Celestine Donkor from Ghana, Wilberforce Musyoka, Solomon Mukubwa, Kestin Bogo, and Sharon Ishavuka from Kenya. Regular tickets are available for just 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings at the gate, and for the children 3 to 12 years, it's only 500 shillings. VIP and VVIP tickets are also available. Visit www.praiseatmosphere.com/events or use paybill number 800-8575 account Praise. Praise Atmosphere 2023, uniting hearts in worship.
Time for that conversation for lessons from the entrepreneur with Mr. Nixon Yebei, the CEO of Peak Insights, where we discuss matters to do with entrepreneurs, business people, business owners, and people who are dreaming of scaling it high. Welcome, Mr. Yebei, for this conversation.
Asante sana, Melissa.
Okay, so this is us thinking of scaling our businesses for that successful business story that we want to have. But where do we start this conversation? Where we're thinking strategy. Do we start at the beginning when I have this business idea, or it is something that I need to develop as I go along? Mm-hmm. For you as a trainer, where do you feel the strategy in a business should start at?
Yes, yeah. So it's actually yes and no. Yeah. So you can actually begin it when you are starting a business, mm-hmm. or you can do that as we go along.
Okay.
So we do it first when we are actually starting the business because it will actually help you to actually have that long-term view. Okay, that for example, you know that when you are now starting this nature of business, what do I need to do or achieve in the next 1 to 5 years? Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. And then of course the other side of it will be that we can also be able to do it while we go along.
Okay.
One, because the business environment will actually change very fast. Mm-hmm. A good example is actually what, for example, in the 2020, 2021, when we had the pandemic, okay. Of course, it actually changed so much.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And then, of course, like for example, in this year, when we have so much changes in the regulatory environment, mm-hmm. we need taxes and all that, of course, then you as a business person need to actually adjust. Mm-hmm. So yes, so to your own question, yes, we can do it as we start, or we do it as we go along.
Okay, what's the difference when I start? Is the strategy supposed to be as concrete as possible at the beginning? Mm-hmm. Or when do I begin to now concretize and decide this is the direction that I really want my business to take? Mm-hmm. Considering also that statistics tell us that the first 3 years are normally the most crucial years of a business for you to be able to tell whether this business will last, because a lot of people then end up folding.
Yes.
So when do I concretize the strategy for a business?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and of course when we begin that business, so it will actually be good for me or for you or any other business person to actually be able to actually say that, what exactly do I want?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And of course, and you may not be able to actually have everything very concrete because mm-hmm. we live in a very fluid environment. Mm-hmm. Of course, for example, if you are in a business, for example, that you deal with imports, mm-hmm. of course, maybe you had actually planned ahead that for example, this will actually be my whole earnings and all that, and this will be my price too. But then, what do we see at the moment? Mm-hmm. There's so much. There is so much. We have the feeling that is actually depreciating at a very fast rate. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. So then it actually affects even your own strategy that you actually had at the beginning. Okay. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yes, and of course the first few years will actually be extremely very fluid because you are not sure exactly what will come. Just the same way that we don't know about what tomorrow holds, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So then in that case, yes, it will. So then what I will say is that it's actually good for us to actually be able to actually build our strategies the best way that we know how, mm-hmm. but then be very open to adapt as we go along, mm-hmm. because things change and things come along. Mm-hmm. And of course, just like as we say that the first 1,000 years in a business are actually very crucial. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They actually make you can actually survive or not, and that's why in Kenya, so many business, there's actually so many. There are so many enterprises that will actually close mm-hmm. actually by their third year. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. And that's why then you need to be able to seek the help of a consultant mm-hmm. and say, for example, the help of a service provider that will be able to actually help you to be able to overcome all those challenges. Mm-hmm. Either because sometimes you as a business person, you want to do a strategy, but you don't know even how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, because you don't know the dynamics and all that. And that's why then it's best for you then to do what? Seek the services of a professional to be able to help you to be able to actually build one and actually concretize one.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you are at Peak Insights, you're also pretty much an entrepreneur in that space. Yeah.
Yes.
So what kind of help do I need? Is it just financial? Is it laying out the plan? Is it how to deal with the suppliers? Is it how to manage competition? What kind of help, what kind of consultancy assistance do you come in to help at Peak Insights?
Yes. Yes, so we have two major areas there. So we have the financial advisory and we have the strategic consulting. Yeah?
Okay.
So then when we talk about strategic consulting, here we talk about so here we actually help you to actually be able to actually build a strategy from scratch. Okay. Or if you have one, we actually help you to actually do your annual reviews. Because we know that in business, just like as I've said before, it's actually very fluid. Okay. So then we actually need to actually review our strategy that are they in line with the changing times. Okay. Or for example, now we are in the age of artificial intelligence. Okay. Is that what this strategy that we set 5 years ago before this AI came in, is it still valid?
Still valid
or not? Yeah. Also, the other thing also that we help you as well also under strategic consulting is that so we also help you to also be able to actually do your own internal controls. Internal controls in a business are actually extremely important. One, because they actually provide the controls and the safeguards for that business to actually be able to succeed. Okay. And the other thing also that we do also under strategic consulting is that so we also help you, for example, that you maybe want to venture into a new market or maybe a new product. Okay. So we help you to actually be able to do a feasibility study to then be able to actually determine that this thing that I actually want to actually enter into, is it profitable? What are the yields? How long will it take for me to actually recoup all my investment and all that? What will it cost in terms of the financial investment, in terms of the manpower, in terms of the talent and all that? Okay. And then, of course, the other thing also that we also do under strategic consulting is that we also offer short-term executive support to business as well.
Okay.
For example, you as Melissa, maybe you have a business too, but then maybe you actually don't have the you actually don't have a CEO role, or maybe you see that if you actually need to actually hire one, it may take you time, or two, it will actually be too expensive. So then you can actually hire us for that short term.
Okay.
And then of course, then we go back to the financial advisories that so we actually help you in actually two key ways. First, to be able to actually build your own financial model, helping you, for example, to actually be able to know how is your business, okay? Is it optimal? Okay, how best can it be actually operating? What are the returns on your assets, on your own investments, and all that? And of course, the other key thing also that we also provide there is we also help you as a business to actually be able to do what to be able to provide advice on tax.
Okay.
And of course, tax is actually extremely very complex. So we also help you and as well to also be able to actually also outsource accountants as well. Yes.
So what are the trends this year? Because a lot of our cries as business people this year has been, the high rate of operating business has been difficult because of the devalued shilling and the cost of commodities just going really up. What are we projecting into 2024? And talk to us as a business person. What should I, as a business person, anticipate into the year? What are some of the controls I should have in place to cushion me if I want to continue with my business into 2024?
Yes, and of course, and of course we actually all accept that there are actually so many challenges in actually running a business. But in the midst of all that, there are also opportunities. Okay, and that's why, for example, especially if you're dealing with imports, of course, the issue of the dollar and all that. Of course, even if you're here, of course, the issue of the cost of living is also a key issue as well.
Yes.
Okay. And so for us, we will actually advise that. So we actually just need to be able to look at what costs do we actually need to actually eliminate. Because in every business, there are actually so many wastages. Yeah, either in duplication of roles. Okay, so we have that, or maybe a process in serving the customer are actually too long, that we have so many touch points which are actually not necessary at all. Or maybe when we are serving a customer, we are using so much paperwork, which we can actually easily avoid and maybe go digital. Okay, that way will actually help us to actually be able to actually save on cost. Yeah, and then of course that the other side of the coin will then be, how then do we drive revenue? Okay, do we need to, for example, to pivot, enter maybe a new market and maybe new products, okay? Or maybe do we need, for example, to drop some products that we are doing and only focus on a few that we have real strength in, okay? Or maybe the other thing as well will actually be, how best do we aggressively grow the business? For example, maybe aggressive marketing. Now we go to social media and all that. How else do we be able to go? Maybe like build partnerships and all that to actually be able to actually scale. So there are actually so many ways. Either grow the revenue, and which I've said on those few examples, or be able to cut on cost. And in most cases, maybe do both. Because what I can be able to actually tell my fellow entrepreneurs is that there's actually so many opportunities. Okay, so yes, there is so much chaos and all that. There's so much challenges, but in the midst of all that, what opportunities are actually emerging, which were not there before. Yeah, and that's why for me, I see the new year, this coming year will actually present itself, will actually present new opportunities, which every entrepreneur should actually be able to actually take advantage of. Yeah, and of course the globalization, and all that. Even locally, we have the expanded East Africa community now to DRC, to Somalia and all that. So we can actually be able to see several ways on actually how we are able to actually expand our businesses. Yes.
How, maybe as a last wrap-up question is, how do we compare to the region? How is the Kenyan business landscape different perhaps to the East African regional business landscape? Are you able to give us a comparative analysis of how we're doing? How we're doing as a country?
And of course that has been a major debate even these past few months. Of course, about the issue of taxation. Like so many businesses have been thinking about what is happening in maybe Tanzania, maybe Uganda, and all that. So that being said, I still believe that Kenya still presents the best opportunities for doing business. First, we must all appreciate that, for example, that we live in a very democratic country, which of course is actually, I think, much better than what our neighbors have. And that being said, yes, of course, yes, we have these few challenges, of course, of the devaluation of the
devaluation.
To the depreciation of the currency. And all that, and the price of doing business and all that. So, but I still believe that all that being said, that still Kenya presents a better opportunity. One, because we have a big market in terms of like the number of consumers. So we have very aggressive people. We have a high level of talent in Kenya as compared to the region. And therefore, so even in terms of even infrastructure, access to the internet, raw network and all that. So I still believe that Kenya still presents a better opportunity, and that's why I'll still be able to do this business here, even if I was to redo it again.
Okay. So for you, let me ask for your parting shot at Peak Insights. There are those business people who kind of will shy away from even seeking for consultancy services. They're like, maybe I can figure this out. I can navigate this the way I can. What would be your advice as a CEO at Peak Insights? And some of the services that you're offering are very key for, especially taxation. Those we want to navigate that terrain nicely. What would you advise a business person and in terms of seeking for consultancy services?
Well, maybe I'll answer it this way. So, and of course, for example, if someone you love, maybe today has been found maybe to have a brain tumor, do you go to the internet to search for the cheapest doctor, or do you go to search for the best? And of course, the answer will actually be the best, isn't it? And of course, most entrepreneurs try to actually do it on their own, to be able, for example, to be able to do their own strategies, which most of the time they are not doing right because they are not professionally in that field, or maybe they want to do their on taxes, or maybe they want to do their own bookkeeping and all that, but they are not profitable in that field. Okay, so my advice will actually be, just like in the example that I've actually given, it doesn't matter how many times you Google, for example, that there's this tumor. You still need to go to a doctor to be able to help you and actually treat you and actually diagnose you.
Sure.
And in the same way, so I'll really encourage businesses to actually be able to seek the service of a professional. Because one, it will actually become cheaper in the long run.
In the long run.
And a good example will actually be, and I think we've actually seen, all of us have seen this in the news, whereby we have houses that are actually falling down in in Kikuyu, or maybe in Umoja and all that, because businessman decided to maybe save some 2 million shillings in actually to actually not hire maybe an engineer. But then, what is the result? That you're actually losing much more, maybe even 100 million, but you're actually trying to actually save 2 million. So I will actually encourage all entrepreneurs to actually be able to seek the services of a professional to actually be able to help you walk that journey with you. And that's why we at Picking Sides, we actually come in, help you to actually walk every step of the way to be able to help you do your own strategies, help you in terms of tax and all financial modeling and all that. And of course, so you can actually be able to actually check us out.
Okay. Thank you for your time so much, Mr. Nixon Yebe from Pick Insight, the CEO right there. Okay. So thank you for having joined us on this bulletin. My name is Melissa Oduor. Boniface Mureithi has been helping us with the sign language. Until next time, have a good night.
Asante sana.